Game number one. Once again, the Nations Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Tomb of the Spider Queen is the map, as we have Italy going up against Norway today. Still looking at Group A, actually. And both of them have obviously already played a match. Italy took the first victory and had a scored 3 points, had a 2-0 win. Norway, on the other hand, they lost to Russia, so they are currently in kind of dire straits, because Russia is definitely the favorite to make it out of the group, so pretty much most of the teams are currently thinking, hey, we have to fight for number 2 spot, and Italy has a little bit of a leg up since they already took their first win just the other day. So for Norway, they pretty much need a win here. They kind of need to make this one happen. If Italy takes it, they're not necessarily out of the... Well, they're pretty much secured in the number 2 spot. Not 100%, but the chances then for them to lose out on it would be rather slim. But let's have a little bit of a look at game number one. Once again, obviously, the quick information here. If you want to know the groups, if you want to have a bit more information, you can go to Khaldor.tv. There's a bit more information about the live streams that are coming up with the Nations Cup, and there's also the groups listed so that you know which nations are in which group right now. The videos are obviously going to be uploaded to YouTube too, so you can check them out there as well. And in this best-of-3 series, we have Italy now with the bans on Mal'Ganis and on Alarak. Norway, on the other hand, currently looking at a Zeratul ban, especially since we had Sigurd on the Italian side playing a lot with Zeratul just the other day. So definitely a reaction to that. Obviously, with the tournament now starting, teams all of a sudden have a bit of data that they can research, where they can get an idea of what the opponent likes to draft, but you should probably ban out there. And that's going to continue as the tournament continues, so at some point we're going to see very targeted bans against some teams. And, well, Johanna's taken out. Malfurion picked up immediately on the Italian side. And the red team on Tomb of the Spider Queen most likely adding already early on a bit of wave clear. But we're starting things off with Garrosh, actually. So immediately the question if we might maybe later even see a Zarya come in. If anything, then probably not at this point. Nope, Stukov first. Alright, the Admiral is in. Stukov is getting played, and let's go. Fine with me. Tomb of the Spider Queen, also nice, because we're breaking a little bit through that pattern that we had on the first day of the Nations Cup, where we had actually an enormous amount of Towers of Doom of all maps, plus in addition to that Infernal Shrines. But now for, I think it's actually the first time in the Nations Cup, Tomb of the Spider Queen. And yeah, let's head straight in. As previously also mentioned, we have of course quite a bit of like skill difference there between the teams too, with 16 nations participating in the Nations Cup. That's more or less a given in a group stage. So we're definitely going to see a couple of storms, but especially Group 4 or D is pretty much a group of death, I want to say, because you have some insane teams in there. Poland and Sweden, for example, are in that group, which means that we're going to see some high caliber games even before we start into the playoffs. Tracer gets banned out, so no assassin jumping to the back line. ETC together with Malfurion provides the Italian with some additional lockdown that they can capitalize on. Good power slide from ETC, and a Junkrat boost back into the team is also of course helpful to get an isolation kill. Blaze gets banned on for the off lane, but there's still Leo up, so you could throw Leo in there too, if you want to pair him with Garrosh, that is. And I think on this map, with now Blaze being banned and the rest of the ban pattern we have, Leo is probably a pretty good alternative for the teams. Rexa has been played in the past here as well. Malthael is obviously also up, and you could also thrall it if you want to. But we see Sonya coming in, Sonya and Greymane. And actually, someone on the side of Norway, I think it was Delino, said earlier that he's playing on a laptop, which is actually a bit crazy. I'm not quite sure if it's true or not, but I would not recommend that. So Malthael gets picked, as more or less expected, but we need a bit more range damage on the side of the Italians. And Sigurd was the one that normally was trying to head into some mobile assassins. Let's see if he gets one of those locked in. Nope, far from it. Instead, we're going to get Jaina. So the burst damage after Malfurion lockdown or the ETC setup. Yeah, and on the side of Norway, last but not least, they still need a bit more range damage, unless they want to run it with a triple front line, which definitely is possible for them. But at this point, we would expect Sonya to be at the bottom in the solo lane. They could still get a bit additional CC in if they really wanted to. Well, on the range damage side, what are we going to have for them? No mage until so far. Well, actually, we have Jaina, so forget that, but there's Khaldor. That was pretty much what I was trying to allude to. So with this, we have some seriously solid setups for the two. Italy against Norway. The Norwegians, they need a win, they want to win. The Italians want to go one step further, qualifying out of the group. And with that, we're heading into the first map of the best-of-3 series. Game number 1 in the best-of-3. Italy on the left side of Tomb of the Spider Queen with Elite Sparkle on Malthael, Fury on ETC, Moldavios on Junkrat, Alex on Malfurion, and Sigurd is playing Jaina. To the right side of the map, Norway with Zeguten on Garrosh, Shaltir on Stukov. We have that guy on Greymane. And Impala on Gul'dan and Delino on Sonya. So, let's jump straight into that and then see which team is going to be able to take the lead here. Again, for Norway, it was a little bit rough in their first match. They went up against Russia and that went about as expected. The Russians with very little mercy and a very crisp and disciplined performance took a quick 2-0. But now against Italy, the Norwegians might stand a chance to take a map and maybe take the series as well. I would still think that the Italians go into this with a slight advantage, being the favorite in this particular match at least. But we'll see how it works out for them. It's definitely going to be a bit more of a challenge for them than their first match, I'd say. I mean, they had a couple of really nice games, but we also criticized a few of the macro mistakes that they were making in the first match that they played there. So it's something that they can definitely work on, but there are mistakes or there are gaps that can be exploited, and that was definitely obvious. 4-man rotation from Norway, where Sonya is actually already going for a couple of mini turn-ins from the bot lane. That didn't quite work out the same way that Junkrat really intended it to. So Zeguten on his Garrosh is safe and got actually thrown behind his own wall. But both teams are running a 4-man rotation between the lanes in an attempt to control them. And in this case, we have also Jaina turning in the few gems that she was holding so far. Block party on ETC on level 1, so he's definitely worried about Greymane, and I guess to an extent also about Sonya, who's currently at the bot lane, still going for the straight spin to win. A little bit too far out, going into tower range actually. Yeah, Lino might have a problem, especially with Jaina now coming in, slowing him down, and that's a lot of damage pushed onto the solo laner. So either Fountain or Hearthstone will now have to be used in order to get him back onto the lane. Maybe a rotation from the red team could also start to threat Malthael a little bit more. Who's going for a turn in by himself now too. Both of the teams are aiming for the Weep Weavers now. Let's see. With Greymane, obviously, you also have a great tool to go for camps. I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time now. Oh! Yeah, it was close, but it was still a kill. It just looked for a moment as if Norway might just be able to make that one happen, but not quite. Impala took over on the experience department, but of course a few gems were lost. Nothing too insane, but it definitely hurts a little bit. Impala's playing this also safe, making sure that he doesn't lose his either. But Moldavios is sitting at the bottom of the map now, trying to claim the Siege Giants. Now there is obviously this camp that we just talked about a second ago, that Greymane took, and that means that with those bruisers marching through the mid lane, there might be an opportunity for the red team to get some pressure against the wall here. But actually well stalled out, and that is just the perfect place to deal with that. Jaina has rotated in together with Junkrat, so that's an easy defense there. Especially since no one from the red team actually tried to push with it and abuse that spell aura there a little bit. So that's unfortunate for them. Couldn't really do a whole lot. Turn in at this point, standing at 25 to 3 gems that have been delivered in favor of Italy. Shattering Teeth is such a dumb talent. It's like, it's so insanely stupid. I love that thing. Like, I don't know. It's absolutely glorious. Ah, the Italians with 2 kills that they picked up, both of them against Sonya. The solo laner definitely in trouble. And the attempt to get a counter kill at least, but Elite Sparkle gets out. Junkrat is causing more displacement, and now we have Garrosh isolated. That's a kill, 15 gems down, but they're not actually protecting them, so most of them get picked up by Greymane. And damn, they're going for Gul'dan now too. Yeah, Italy is looking quite solid here. 4 kills against 0. They have level 7. Now they're looking at the turn-in. Echo Paddle is in. on level 7 now as well for ETC, and this should pretty much be it. We have a few more gems delivered by Fury up here at the top, and the first web weaver wave is gonna come down for them. But Fury actually runs into the minion wave instead. That is a bit of a surprise, I want to say. Lead Sparkle's now trying to turn in, but I guess he's going to be interrupted. So ETC definitely had the opportunity to pull this one off, but he didn't even try. Now they're still looking solid so far. Junkrat taking quite a bit of damage from the camp here, but well, Fury is of course close by, so that's not going to be a problem. 7 versus 7. Also still a chance for Norway to turn things around and maybe secure the turn-in for themselves. They definitely have the gems they need. A little dance here at the bottom of the map with Sonya again in slight trouble. And so far, the Lino hasn't really gotten a whole lot done here. It's a bit of a problem for him. Alright, so here we go. Fury with the turn-in. At least the attempt. Blue Web Weavers are dropping since at least at the bottom turn-in point they were able to deliver. And damn, they are crushing through that wall already. So the mid lane is losing not only the gate, but the towers are more or less toast even before we are seeing the Web Weavers come down. So that's a huge win. Well, they're still an entire level ahead and haven't lost a hero yet. That's huge for the Italians. If they can actually get level 10 with this, then a double turn-in is not out of the question, and maybe a few kills. Especially since we can expect that Elite Sparkle, with the build that he chose so far, can definitely go into last rites and try and drop their Lino here. But the main pressure is in the middle of the map. This is exactly where they opened the wall previously. This is currently what they're doing here. Alright. There we go. Rotation down towards the bottom, and it's again the attack against Sonya. Like, that kid really doesn't get a rest, right? I mean, he can't take a breath here. Every single time the rotation is coming towards him and they're attacking from all angles. Now that fort is gonna fall, in the middle we've seen even more pressure. Level 10 abilities are so close that you should get them. And that could be a quick kill right here against Garrosh, and indeed they do. And that's a stack acquired for Malthael. Picked it quickly and secures the stack here. Obviously, Garrosh would have died either way, but this way he has a 5-second cooldown reduction already and will be able to use it for the next battle. Massive lead now. Massive lead for the Italians. Yeah, and well, the push through the middle of the map could actually home in on the next fort. They have still the heroic advantage. They also have pretty much the turn-in that they need. They need 2 more gems, and well, actually at this point they already picked them up. So it's an easy second web weaver wave for them. But as I said, if they just push the mid lane, they can get this fort without even using the web weavers in any way. That's exactly what we're currently seeing here. ETC, in the meantime, is sitting down. This is just mean. I mean, this is just mean, seriously. Sonya is sitting there again and it's just like, oh my god, please, no. What does the girl have to do here? ETC wants the camp, there's the Riptide, and that's the kill against Garrosh as the 7th kill is taken by the Italian team. And they're looking for more. ETC with the mosh pit attempt, but gets interrupted. Sonya still dies. And it looks like Khaldor is going to have a bad time here too. Yep, there's the second stack for Malthael as he acquires a 10-second cooldown reduction. Gets an easy one in. And now we're looking at 9 kills against the 0, a 2-level advantage, another fort eliminated, an easy turn-in if they want it, and they are absolutely dominating. Sonya, by the way, picked Leap, so we are seeing some heavy engage potential from Norway. But it is a bit questionable if they can really use that. That's already the setup towards the bot lane with the Siege Giants in play. They can definitely start to push this aggressively. Sonya is a little bit far out, but they show their hands too early. That could have been a kill. With a good power slide from ETC, this could really have been another kill here. So already the move straight through the bottom and the gate, and that gate is gone. And the web weavers, as I said before, aren't even here yet. There's a catapult coming with this. We have the Siege Giants in, and they're just crushing through that. Level 13 talents should soon be available for the Italians, which gives them an additional talent advantage. But it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that that keep is going to fall if they keep up the pressure. And in the meantime, the top fort and the mid keep are getting attacked too. There's a level 13's inevitable end. He has his ult up, could use it to get the kill against Khaldor. Or against Garrosh, and they get both. Khaldor and Garrosh go down. That's now 3 stacks acquired for Malthael. They follow it up with Sonya and Stukov, and this is most likely going to be the end of the game in total. I think there is going to be an approach towards the core now. Death timers are still incredibly low, of course, but at this point it doesn't really matter. 13 kills against 0. Web Weavers, Catapults, and Siege Giants together with a 5-man of Italy going straight onto the core, and this one is falling quickly. Fury is buying as much time as he possibly can, and this is the first game. The lead for Italy in this best-of-3 series as they take down Norway and are victorious on Tomb of the Spider Queen. GG, well played. Game number 2, Shire is the second map. Italian team is looking good. Yeah, they are moving straight in. I heard actually one of the things that motivated them is that someone on the Norwegian team has claimed that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, and the Italians, being true pizza lovers, obviously know that that's not true and that's a lie. And to finally settle that old debate, the Italians are not only fighting for country and glory here, but also to make pineapple on pizza finally a thing. So kudos to the Italians. So far it's working out really well for them. And I think this is going to settle the discussion once and for all. If they can take the victory here, that's of course the bigger question. So Zeratul is banned out. No Zeratul for them. And, well, let's see. Is there any... Oh, I mean, okay, it is Shire. So all of a sudden you are worrying about Rexa maybe a little bit more. Urel is really good at the top lane. Of course, Leo's rotation, oftentimes an issue. But first of all, Garrosh gets banned out. That's the first thing that actually happens here. But I would be very surprised if Rexa doesn't get addressed in any way, shape or form here. He is more or less the king of Shire, so that is the thing. Second ban. What do you actually ban against the Italians right now? It's actually a pretty good question. I mean, honestly, at this point, you want to target Fury if you can, but Fury has been shifting positions as well. He hasn't only played the main tank. We've seen yesterday on the off lane, so that's another big deal. And, well, there's the Rexa ban. They actually had first pick, first ban, so the Norwegians could also have just said, listen, we are going to pick Rexa for ourselves, and we're going to try and win that top lane pretty hard. And, yeah. Oh, well, what are they going to get rid of? This is a slight disadvantage of actually being only in the second game of every single one of these teams. Just imagine once they're in the playoffs, all of a sudden you can look at the entire group stage of a team to get a bit of an idea of which heroes they're usually playing, where their preferences lie in, especially what maps they're going to use there too. Right now there is very little information. I mean, some of the teams that played for certain nations played for the first time together as a 5-man yesterday. Some others already put in a little bit of practice. So it really depends on the nations, how much time is available for the players. I mean, we literally have some nations that were struggling to get a team together, and we're happy that they were able to field a 5-man in the first place, where there are obviously others that already played as 5-mans for a long time in the past. Just look at the Polish team, for example, or people that know each other extremely well, like the Swedes and also the Germans. Malfurion and Blaze both get taken, so the front line... Actually, we could still see Blaze also in the main tank position. Don't really think that's going to be the case on Shire, but there's always an option for that. Usually it's Infernal Shrines where we get that more so, but you could do that if you really feel the need. So let's see if they're adding a few more frontliners and melee heroes to the mix here. Anduin and Alarak. Okay. Johanna, Anduin, Alarak, so they're already going for a couple of blondies here. And have Alarak together with that. That's more so my style, like the no hair approach. Karazim shares the love for very arrow look as well. Alarak even has this head thing going. Alarak is actually very arrow. It's just the armor that he has that is a little bit ruining the entire effect there. So you can't draft... Well, you can draft behind him pretty easily, but he's gonna have some problem drafting. Well, Tracer gets banned, so does Dehaka. Oh, I mean, fair enough. Worried about the global. Maybe still Falsa could be played here. Actually, a little bit well, not really confused, but a bit surprised that nobody has really thrown a bit of a curveball. There's obviously still the one aspect that if you know that you are the, let's say, like the underdog in a series, you can try and prepare some kind of cheese strategy or something a bit out of the box to surprise your opponent and put them into a pickle. We've seen this with Samuro and Abathur setups in the past quite a lot, and other approaches as well, so you could still try and do that here. But Vala gets picked, so does ETC. So ETC has not only the ability to keep Vala safe through his stuns, but at the same time he has that knockback effect that really helps him to keep targets away from her. Malthael gets taken, and Reyna. Okay, so Malthael for the top lane. And Asmodan! There we go! Alright, let's go for this one. Asmodan, and this is an interesting one. I actually am wondering who is he gonna stack with. If Vala's gonna help out there, if it's gonna be Blaze. I mean, either way, he would have loved to play with Johanna or someone else that has more AoE. But let's go, Dragon Shire, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 between Italy and Norway. Game on! Italy with the Asmodad pick in game number 2 on Dragonshire. Elite Sparkle on ETC for the blue team in the lead now in this best-of-3 series. Fury is playing Blaze. Moldavios on Asmodan. We have Sigurd on Vala. Alex it on Malfurion, and over to the right side, Siguten on Johanna, Delino on Malthael. We have Reyna in the mix, Shaltir or Ter on Anduin, and Impala is playing Alarak. Let's go and ready to rumble. Level 1, immediately heading into Wrath. So playing a bit more around the basic attacks here. And let's see who this is going to work out for them. I mean, generally speaking, they have proven in game number 1 that they are the favorites for a reason. So Asmodan, if he picks up the stacks, is obviously quite nice in that setup and has the wave key also to push this out. So he's already connecting a few stacks as we speak. But yeah, I'm interested to see how if they're having some kind of stack rotation with him. Because usually when you're playing Asmodan, the big whee, look how happy he is. Every single time that you ride either a Carpet or a Cloud with Asmodan, he's just super happy right there. So with this, I mean, Asmodan in this setup, normally again, you want to have someone that rotates with him and helps him with the early stacks. At some point, especially if you're going into some kind of Globe of Annihilation build, Asmodan is going to be in a position where he can get all of that by himself. But the main setup, or the setup of all, was actually Asmodan that we have on the Italian side, together with Johanna, who's on the side of the Norwegians. And the whole idea was that the two of them would rotate, you would damage the minions a little bit, Asmodan would throw the globe completely in, and at the same time Johanna would then use the Condemn to finish the wave off, and that would give Asmodan easy stacks at the beginning. You set this up with a rotation between the mid and the bot lane, for example, and you have after a few minutes an insane amount of stacks, which helps Asmodan then to get more damage in, have an easier time getting those stacks on his own, and that really propels him forward to complete the baseline here, for example, and work towards a level 20. So if you don't have Johanna, you can still do the same thing with any kind of AoE damage dealer. And this is actually what they're trying to do here. I mean, as you could see, they throw in the globe and then immediately the damage dealers are going for it. Siguten barely survives. Jimmy, on the other hand, doesn't. And that's a problem. But there's where the rotation comes in again. I mean, the main reason why the Asmodan and Johanna combo was played for pretty much the first time on the Blackheart's Bay was that you have a really short distance between the top and the mid lane there. So it's super easy to make that rotation happen, and Asmodan can even throw the globe from the adjusting lane. So that makes it incredibly easy to get those stacks and really add the wave clear there. So in the early game, Asmodan usually doesn't do a whole lot. But this is one of the problems that you have in, especially the Amateur League. They try to play with Asmodan, but then they don't understand how to stack at the beginning of the game. Just look at the setup. So all of them come in, they drop it, and they grab it. Like a few of them attack too early, so some minions were missed out here. But that's the core principle of an Asmodan rotation. And generally speaking, Asmodan isn't really a great hero, but as we established, the Italians are far ahead when it comes to their performance overall. And they are pretty secure that they have a lot to go for here. Now, there's a bit of a Dragon Knight approach by the opponent, but they already denied that by grabbing the shrine, as we can see at this point. And let's see. Asmodan is in. That was a 4-man already. Nice. Good damage output. Yep, at this point, they're actually doing incredibly well with this. And yeah, so far, so good. Okay. Yep, so far done, and let's see what else they can actually pull off with that. Level 4 talents are in on both sides. That means that we're having, first of all, Punishment. is currently taken here for Vala, so even a little bit more AoE. But at least the Norwegians are at this point starting to pressure the mid lane. Asmodan has the interrupt, of course, ready. Multiple, actually. And ETC has now moved up towards the top and is starting to reclaim this one. Now, ETC could easily also go... Ooh, nice attack against Fury here. He needs to be careful, because that is a heavy commitment that we're seeing from the Norwegians. So Italy needs to be cautious, as they're still looking for that camp here. Well, it was actually stolen away, as we can tell, but they take it down. And Asmodan has now, as you can see, an easier time to stack. So all of a sudden, we are sitting at 97 stacks. We're currently at the top lane looking at an ETC that is still holding the lane against Malthael. ETC sitting topside also means more or less we're going to have him with a stage dive and level 10. So they're going to be looking for more global pressure that they can execute against the opponent. But the Norwegians have at least the pressure on the camps. They took all 3 camps at the bottom of the map. This is one of the reasons why they're currently looking at a pretty solid experience. I mean, it's not an experience advantage, don't get me wrong. But they still are on the exact same level, despite the fact that they lost the initial Reyna initially. So Vala currently sitting in the middle, Asmodan in trouble, and that's a kill right there. Yep. The fatty goes down, gets body blocked into oblivion, and that's the end of Asmodad, who, by the way, went on level 4 into the Battleborn. So that was the level 4 talent, and the Bombardment on level 7. Blaze in trouble, Fury locked down for another second, but is actually not able to get away here. Either way, 117 stacks all ready for Asmodan, and obviously that doesn't only count towards his baseline, but also towards the quest on level 1. Now with this level 7 talents, we're also now seeing the Eternal Retaliation, so a bit of a cooldown reduction. And that was a nice stun and a good setup. They're actually trying to go for Alarak in this case, but Anduin is ready. Asmodan comes in from the side, goes for the laser show, but they're all getting away for now. 4 versus 4 at this point, and Alarak with a nice combo, but they're actually escaping. Well played. That was a bit of a scary flank that we had there. But now towards the top, it's still at ETC versus Malthael battle. And Delino really needs to start to control ETC here, because the problem is if they lose this one too, then they're in trouble. Norwegians, that is. At the bottom of the map, that 4 versus 4 is still ongoing. And Asmodan is honestly starting to hurt a little bit with those continuous pokes that he has. Here comes again, then set up from Blaze, trying to go for the body blocks too, and especially Jimmy is in just too much trouble. He's way too far out here, way ahead, frontlining it hard, even with the setup that they have here. Now we are seeing 4 Malthael, 103 sadism at this point. Didn't go into the negatively charged on level 4. But also at this point, just looking at the damage output, seeing Asmodan with 12,000. Nothing crazy yet. I mean, Asmodan is not really getting any crazy damage numbers here, at least not when we're talking hero damage. But he's sitting at a comfortable 34,000 siege, and that is all that he should care about at this point, in a moment in time. And as the game continues and he starts to grab additional stacks, we're very, very likely going to see him with a lot more damage output, especially if the Norwegians are able to force a late game game against them. Yeah, camps grabbed on both sides. In this case, it's actually the Bruiser camp, which could be used to push the top lane a bit more aggressively. Now, first of all, the Norwegians need to be careful around level 10. That's a bit of a problem for them as we speak. But ETC hasn't picked a talent yet. Again, stage dive, very, very likely. Not that he couldn't pick Mosh Pit, but if you want to have that global mobility here, then that's definitely the choice. And there we go. Stage dive comes in. Also, for Asmodan, the Tide of Sin. Malthael is in trouble, since Vala rotates up to help out ETC. Misses both of the ult charges. And Delino easily moves away, which means that there's a 4-man at the bottom of the map having an easy claim onto the Shire. And they're actually moving in against the fort now too. Top side, Malthael shouldn't really overstay his welcome. I mean, he kind of knows what he's up against here. Went into last right, so that's definitely something he can threaten. But it's easy damage against the bottom fort. Here comes the attack against Fury as he goes in. The Blessed Shield is out, and Fury drops the bunker, but he should die either way. At this point, they can easily go for that kill, and they do, so he's down, and that gives more momentum to the Norwegians. Norwegians looking strong with this. 2 kills against 2, and all of a sudden they're coming back. I mean, initially they had some trouble, but this is looking way better for them. They're going for Asmodan. The Condemn connects with him. There's a slow from the punishment, but he's already out of range. Nice hit against Jimmy, though. And Jimmy doesn't have a good game here. I mean, not at all. If you look at the kill count, he's the only one that died on the side of the Norwegians so far. Well, Impala might actually change that now. Yep, that's 3 points for Asmodan right there. And he's sitting at 20,000 damage, which isn't really bad. But yeah, Jimmy needs to be a little bit more cautious. He's currently sitting at 14,000 damage, but he's definitely too far out in these fights. The body block attempts against Johanna, but the Iron Skin comes through, so that works out. At this point, 4 kills against 2, and again the pressure on the Dragon Knight. We haven't seen a single one yet. The stack amount, 284 now for Asmodan, so as you can tell, he is getting a lot more value out of this now. Marthel hasn't even used his ult yet. There's the pings, everybody telling him to retreat, and for a good reason. There's the stun, getting dodged again, a little bit more damage, but Lino is really paying attention here. Much better performance by him now on this hero than what we've seen with Sonya previously. And there's the attack against Fury again, and they're just absolutely murdering Blaze at this point. Blaze is down. And now we have, despite the fact that there's lead inexperience and talents for Italy, a bit more momentum for Norway. And they use that to grab the bottom camp, and that should actually help them to get the fort. With this, they should have an easy grab at the fort itself. Asmodan, thanks to the initial help that he got, is sitting at 300 stacks so far. So this is a really good position for him to complete the baseline talent. Could help him with a level 20, of course, too. 13 talents on both sides, and that's the first 4 to fall in this game. And the Italians lose it. There's another camp that can be grabbed now too. And if they get those, the camp and those, that would be fantastic. But that's the choke point, and you don't want to fight there. 3 heroes down, they fell right into the trap. Asmodan connects the damage, Vala the stun, and now 4 heroes are down. The Norwegians with a great little bit of momentum, but then they throw it all away as they funnel into the choke point against the opponent, trying to go for the Siege Giant camp, which in and of itself is not necessarily a horrible choice, but the way they went about it was definitely ambitious. Now we see Asmodan at the bottom of the map grabbing this, and again, whee! He is just such a happy kid right there. Alright, 329 stacks for him. And honestly, this should be a Dragon Knight bet. I gotta admit that they have now 4 heroes again in the middle of the map, and Marthel has done a fantastic job delaying this for as long as he could. So now there's another fighting chance for Norway to maybe stall this out and take a hero down. If they can do that, that would be absolutely fantastic for them. A good Blessed Shield setup might just do the trick here. Blaze is already seeing at the sides though. There's the Blessed Shield, they go for Vala, they might get the kill there. ETC is channeling the Dragon Knight and should get it, but Vala... Oh, what? Vala escapes, and they're in trouble. The Dragon Knight moves in, double Siege Giants are attacking the bottom fort and take it down. This could be an easy punt behind the wall even, and they are locking down Anduin, and he dies screaming. Dragon Knight moving into the middle, big approach through the bot lane with 4 Siege Giants, level 16 in the hands of the Italians. They're doing great here. 363 stacks for Asmodan, getting closer and closer to completing the baseline, and now the approach to the bottom keep where they try to break through the wall at least, maybe even the keep itself. I mean, Anduin isn't here yet, so all the damage that they can throw out can't be healed outside of them tapping on the fountain. So that's another big obstacle. The Siege Giants are gone, but they are definitely starting to murder that keep here, and the damage is coming. I mean, Sigurd alone and Vala is doing a great job, and you have the siege damage from Asmodan that's contributing to this too. 35,000 damage and 38 on their end. That's the end of Malthael, and the keep will fall. Can they go core? I kind of doubt that a little bit, but if they grab another kill, nothing is impossible. Take the fountain down, and the safest play would be to just fall back and try to take the camps on the map, maybe also grab the top fort. Wait for the next objective and claim that, unless they can get another kill. There comes the stage dive, there's the slide, there's the follow-up from Asmodan, and that's a double kill. Anduin is down, he came, he saw, and he died again. Veni Vidi GG. And Anduin plus Alarak eliminated means that there's only 3 defenders, and all of a sudden that core is in trouble. Going straight for it. Also, Jimmy isn't looking too healthy either. Neither does Johanna, but the kill against Marthel comes in first. I have never seen him even use his ult the entire game. he honestly didn't have a lot of opportunities there. The shield is down, and with Azmodan not quite completing his quest, it looks like we might see this series end with a 2-0 victory for Italy, as they are taking their game on Shire. That's an easy win for them right there. GG and well played, the Italians, with another win in Group A. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary. The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind, though, that this does not only mean more work for me, but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Patreon page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support, and see you guys next time.